What if a family game night uncovered a secret pact sealed in blood, and the price was still to be paid? When an old contract is found, the past comes calling, and someone in the family is ready to collect. The Harrisons' annual game night was a tradition that brought the whole family together. Laughter echoed through the old house as cousins argued over Monopoly, aunts and uncles swapped stories, and the youngest children snuck extra cookies from the kitchen. The family's ancestral home, with its creaking floors and shadowy corners, was the perfect backdrop for a night of nostalgia and friendly competition. As the evening wore on, the power flickered in a sudden storm. The group decided to light candles and keep playing. In the living room, teenage cousins Jamie and Lily searched for a missing game piece. Jamie reached into the back of an old sideboard and felt something odd, a loose panel. With a tug, the panel slid open, revealing a hidden drawer. Inside was a bundle of yellowed papers tied with a faded red ribbon. The top sheet was marked contract in ornate script, and beneath it, two names, Thomas Harrison and Elias Blackwell, dated 1893. The contract was written in archaic language, but one thing was clear, it was signed in blood. The family gathered around as Jamie read aloud. The contract spoke of a debt of blood and fortune, a promise that would bind the signer's descendants until the price is paid in full. The room grew quiet. The storm raged outside, and for the first time all night, the house felt truly haunted. The discovery cast a pall over the evening. The adults tried to laugh it off, but the contract's words lingered. "It's just an old story," Uncle Greg insisted, but his voice was shaky. Grandma Rouse, the family matriarch, took the contract and read it silently, her face growing pale. Later, Jamie and Lily searched online for the names. They found records of a bitter feud between the Harrisons and the Blackwells, a land dispute that ended in violence. The contract, it seemed, was a truce. The Harrisons would keep the land, but if the Blackwells ever returned, the debt would be settled in blood or gold. That night, Jamie dreamed of shadowy figures in the hallway, whispering about debts unpaid. In the morning, the contract was missing from the kitchen table. Grandma Rose claimed she'd put it away for safekeeping, but Jamie noticed her hands trembling. As the family prepared to leave, a stranger appeared at the door. He introduced himself as Simon Blackwell, a descendant of Elias. "I believe you found something that belongs to my family," he said, his eyes cold. The past, it seemed, was not done with the Harrisons. Simon Blackwell was nothing like the Harrisons expected. He was young, sharply dressed, and carried himself with quiet authority. He explained that his family had been searching for the contract for generations. "It's not just a piece of paper," he said. "It's a promise. And promises had a way of coming due." Grandma Rose tried to deflect, insisting the contract was meaningless. But Simon produced his own copy, an old letter from Elias Blackwell, warning his descendants to collect what is owed. The Harrisons realized the contract was real, and the debt was still outstanding. Simon demanded a meeting with the family. He laid out the terms. The Harrisons could pay the debt in gold, an amount adjusted for inflation, now a small fortune, or in blood. "A life for a life," he said, his voice icy. "That's what the contract says." The family was horrified. Some wanted to call the police, but Simon warned them, "This is a family matter. The law can't help you." The Harrisons were trapped, bound by a promise made long before any of them were born. Panic spread through the family. Some argued they should pay Simon and be done with it. Others insisted the contract was just a relic, with no legal standing. Old resentments surfaced, accusations about who benefited most from the family fortune, who should bear the cost. Jamie and Lily, feeling responsible for finding the contract, tried to research ways to break the pact. They found stories of other families haunted by old debts, of curses that lingered for generations. The more they earned, the more they realized the contract was more than just words on paper, it was a curse that had shaped their family's fate. Grandma Rose confessed that her own father had warned her about the Blackwells. "He said the debt would come due in my lifetime," she whispered. I thought it was just a story to scare children. Simon gave the family a deadline, 1 week to decide. If you don't pay, I'll collect in my own way, he promised. The Harrisons were left to face the consequences of a promise made in blood. Desperate, the Harrisons searched the house for clues. They found old letters, diaries, and newspaper clippings about the feud. The story was always the same. Thomas Harrison had killed Elias Blackwell's brother in a land dispute. The contract was a way to avoid further bloodshed, but the price was never paid. Jamie and Lily discovered a hidden compartment in the attic, containing a journal written by Thomas Harrison. In it, he confessed to the killing, expressing regret but insisting he had no choice. "I did what I had to do to protect my family," he wrote. "But the debt weighs heavy on my soul." The siblings realized the only way to break the curse was to acknowledge the truth. They convinced Grandma Rose to meet with Simon and offer a public apology, hoping it would be enough. But Simon was unmoved. "Words are cheap," he said. "I want what's owed." As the deadline approached, tensions in the family reached a breaking point. Some members packed their bags, ready to flee. Others argued about selling the house to raise the money. Jamie and Lily pleaded with Simon for more time, but he refused. On the final night, the family gathered in the living room, the contract on the table between them. Simon arrived, flanked by 2 men. "Time's up," he said. "What's your decision?" Grandma Rose stood, her voice trembling. "We'll pay," she said, offering Simon a check for the full amount. But Simon tore it up. "It's not about the money," he said. "It's about justice." He demanded a Harrison volunteer to pay the blood price. The room fell silent. No one moved. Jamie, feeling responsible, stepped forward. "Take me," he said. Simon smiled, but shook his head. "It has to be someone who benefited most from the debt. Someone who carries the family name." All eyes turned to Uncle Greg, the current head of the family business. Greg protested, but Simon insisted. "Your wealth, your power, it all comes from a crime. It's time to pay." Greg broke down, confessing to years of guilt over the family's dark history. He agreed to go with Simon, hoping to end the curse once and for all. Simon led Greg outside. The family watched in horror as the 2 men disappeared into the night. The next morning, Greg returned, alive, but changed. He explained that Simon had taken him to the old Blackwell property, where he was forced to dig up the remains of Elias's brother. "He made me face what our family did," Greg said. "He made me promise to make it right." Simon accepted Greg's apology, but warned that the debt was not fully paid. "You must honor the contract," he said. "Use your fortune to help others, to break the cycle of violence and greed." The Harrisons agreed, donating a large sum to charity and establishing a scholarship in the Blackwell name. The curse, it seemed, was finally lifted. With the debt paid, the family began to heal. Old grudges faded, replaced by a sense of unity. Jamie and Lily became close, grateful for the chance to start over. Grandma Rose found peace, knowing the past had finally been acknowledged. Simon visited one last time, thanking the family for honoring the contract. "The past can't be changed," he said. "But the future is yours to shape." The Harrisons rebuilt their lives, determined to honor the lessons of the blood contract. Years later, the family gathered for another game night. The house was filled with laughter and light. The contract was framed on the wall, a reminder of the price they'd paid for peace. Jamie and Lily told the story to the younger cousins, teaching them the importance of honesty and responsibility. The family's legacy was no longer one of violence and secrets, but of healing and hope. As the night ended, Jamie looked at the contract and smiled. "We're free," he whispered. "At last." If you believe in the power of facing the past and breaking the cycle, share this story with someone who needs hope. What would you do if your family's peace depended on a promise made in blood? Let us know in the comments below.